Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Diana, join me on the Lall Show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:20 p.m. and a rebroadcast at 11 a.m. The Lall Show only on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM.
(19:20) on the dot. Good evening to you, everyone tuning in on Radio Land and, of course, online at Kaieteur Radio. It is time for the Lall Show. We are fresh out of Mashramani, fresh out of Republic Day. Mr. Lall and myself, we were one of the few people that survived this great flu that everyone suffered with post-Mashramani because of the rain, and for that we are thankful, and we're going to go full steam ahead. Mr. Lall, over to you.
Mashramani? What? Ray? Namaste. Bernard, namaste. Kevin, Raj, namaste. Namaste, guys. Mashramani. This country, Kevin, is in a state of darkness. Unbelievable darkness. We are suffering from a chronic national sickness, Kevin. A state of poverty. And no light is shining towards our prosperity with all this wealth we have at our fingertips. And you talking about Mashramani? How can it be? That's a great line. How can it be? A great line I heard yesterday from one of my heroes I listened to. A man named Patrice Lumumba from Kenya. Guys, you will hear him later in the program. Did I say namaste? Let me say namaste once again to all of you. How can it be? Our vice president, regardless of what the auditors discover, because Uncle and Auntie, the time limit ran out. How can that be? How can that be? He went and approved the third and fourth projects, another 20 billion US costs last year and the year before. And he didn't start auditing or checking those as yet. Right? He will wait again till time run out and then pay those billions again as is. How can that be? How can we sit quiet and accept this? How could we ever know how far Exxon finger went into our eyes or their foot went down our throats with those inflated bills that we have to pay as is? How can this be? Beautiful line, eh? How can this be? I sometimes pinch myself just to make sure I am not dreaming of these things I'm witnessing and saying here. How can this be? in a country that has a government, an opposition, a parliament, and an educated society? How can this be? I don't know. Those 4 projects, Bernard, total 40 billion American dollars that will come out of our oil before profit is shared. And the leaders of the country are impotent. We're verifying or checking this 40 billion is concerned. How can it be? How can it be, guys? Are you saying none of the 65 MPs that were elected to oversee good governance of this trillion-dollar oil business don't have it in them to speak up? To say something? How can this be? Are we running a business, a country, or a charity in this land? A circus, a sham, or a con game? I don't know, Ray. I just don't know, guys. How can it be that our vice president is allowing Exxon and partners to pile up tens of US billions upon billions on our backs, project after project? And the most important thing, check and verify them before the time run out. They're quiet. How can this be? How can this be? The whole country quiet. The president of Guyana quiet. The opposition silent. How can this be? I don't know. How can it be? A country that has so much oil, so much timber, gold, diamond, bauxite. Yes, how can it be? We have so much, and the children and teachers going to school with empty lunch kits, fainting out of hunger in classrooms. How can it be? Beautiful line I learned yesterday. How can a man picking mangoes from your tree hand you the expenses for you to check, and you paying the bills because you allow the time to run out? Huh? How can that be? How can you allow time to expire and has to pay bills, Ray? How can that be? How can it be that your father, not giving himself enough room to verify each mango tree bill, but running ahead full speed approving more and more mango trees for the people? How can that be? How can one justify that? How can any sane person with a little understanding of a cake shop agree to something like that? How can a vice president who previously served 2 full terms of 5 years each as president of this land do that to us with ExxonMobil out there? How can this be? But before we hear from Mr. Lubumba, please listen to what former South African leader Jacob Zuma had to say about the foreigners in his country. He said, Western countries have been coming to Africa for centuries only to rob them of their resources. And he's begging them to admit what they have done to Africa. He said some countries became rich off the African wealth they took. The man said they were never taught. They never thought of helping or developing Africa. They dominated Africa. They took the political power, economic power, and then left the Africans powerless and penniless. The man said they had to fight to free themselves. Guys, uncle and auntie, listen carefully. You will hear him say, the foreigners were never there to help Africa. They were there and still there to rob Africa. How can it be? Play that tape. And for those of you, put it online. For those of you who are listening this program on YouTube and Facebook, please click on the link.
There is a link posted on the comment section of all of our lives. You can click there to get the full information of what Glenn Lall is talking about.
You put it up?
It's up.
All right, as you put it up there, give them a moment, let it pull up. Go ahead, you can play now.
Now, some people are asking, what exactly is China doing in Africa? What's your take on that?
Western countries have come to Africa for centuries to rob Africa of its resources. They should be admitting what they've done. Some are rich because of the resources they took from Africa. They never thought of helping Africa to develop. They subjugated Africa. They took the political power, economic power, and then made us, therefore, socially, to have no power at all. We had to fight to liberate ourselves. They were never here to help. They were here to rob. After decolonization, they continued to do so. They could no longer use political power. They influenced it indirectly, but they held on to the economic levers of these countries. They were dominating, they were benefiting, they were doing nothing to help us.
Instruments to dominate and take advantage on Africa. You heard him say, if the country is in a bad state and needed help, they would lend them money and put terms and conditions. Yes. That instead of lifting up Africa, pushes Africa further down into the gutters. So it was not helping. Again, how can that be? I don't know. How can they come and rob you of your wealth, put it in the World Bank, uncle, then turn around and strangle you with loans around your necks that you would never be able to pay, while they say they're helping you? How can that be? How can that ever be? How can that be? How can we be so rich, man, with such an abundance of resources, yet so poor and penniless that we are running back to the same people who's robbing us, tricking us, cheating us to lend we money to pay salaries and old age pension, brother? How can this be? The World Bank lent Ghana billions and pushed them into the gas to energy plant, which the the World Bank convinced Ghana will generate cheap electricity. Very cheap for the country. Ghana ended up losing 250 million US a year on that plant. And when Ghana complained to the same World Bank who deliberately tricked them into it, oh, they said, sorry. But you still have to pay the debts. How can this be? Today in Guyana, ExxonMobil and the American Exim Bank is pushing Guyana down that same road Ghana went down with its Wales gas plant. How can this be? I ask. How can it be that Vice President Jagdeo and Winston Brassington, who are both in charge of this project, can't hold a press conference to show or to come clean to explain to this nation how this project, with still an unknown investment package, will cut electricity bills by half and pay back the investment? How can this be? Today, we are told by the AFC, today, at a press conference, that the Speaker of the House, Mr. Manzoor Nadir, turned down a request by the opposition to have all the documents for the gas to shore project at Wales. You hear that? Wow. Torn down, he doesn't want the public and the opposition to know what's going on. He said, he told the AFC, the opposition, done brief by Brassington at the oil conference last week. That same oil conference that citizens had to pay to attend. How can this be? How can a clean, transparent government embarking on the largest project ever in this country, turning down the requests by the opposition to see the terms and conditions, the agreements that being put in place to cut electricity by half? How can this be, brothers and sisters? How can they not see the world is fast tracking into renewables such as solar that can give electricity, yes, as cheap as 3 cents per kilowatt? Today in the Kaieteur News, we carried a story in which India, the energy minister of India, said that they were able to bring down the cost from 25 cents to 3 cents per kilowatt with solar. Right? 3 cents. They bring it down from 25 cents to 3 cents. They got 1.4 billion people that using gigawatts of electricity. And don't worry about shortage and battery. Guyana we got couple people using a couple megawatts, not gigawatts. Oh boy. Jagdeo worrying about storage and battery. How can this be? Huge nations like that going solar with 3 cents and not worrying about battery and sunlight. We are in a tropical country and Jagdeo worrying about sunlight and battery. Why, Ray? Is it because they want to do something fishy with the Wales project? I don't know. I don't know. I am just asking. Joe Biden just announced how they going to put in more gigawatts of electric power using wind. Jack David Brasington are run after the most expensive and dangerous options the world has. Natural gas to cut electric bill. How can this be, brothers and sisters? How can it? How can this be that the man you listened to just now, the former president of South Africa, knew the right thing, preaching it to the whole Africa, and now the whole South Africa in total blackout with no electricity? How can that be? How can it be? Our leaders here are so silent, ducking, running, and hiding from the citizens of this country about where they're taking this country or what's in store for us in this land. How can this be, Ray? I don't know, Josh. Joshua Wacken? I don't know. The opposition and the government still wrong, Monard? I don't know. How can this be? Now, please listen to the man from whom I got that wonderful line that made me think so many things. This is one of the few heroes I have, a man worthy of my admiration. His name is Patrice Lumumba. I can listen to him all day. You know, Bernard, I think this man should be the leader, the ruler of the entire African continent, and Guyana too, even though he's a Kenyan. Could you play him? Let the entire, put it up.
Once more, the link is posted on all their Facebook pages, including our YouTube comment section.
Put it up. 1 second. Let them pull it up. Let them listen to it. Now you can play. A pity I couldn't get the whole, the whole speech. Bernard, you sure that man was talking about Africa or Guyana? Both. We had Guyana Airways, which crumbled in 99, after which the PPP government reopened it in 2000, and Jagdeo flapped it. He couldn't run it. How can it be? 30 years and we are still living in blackouts that burn up one of my friends in Windsor Forest 2 weeks ago. How can it be? And blackouts will kill many more in this country. How can it be? How can it be that we have so much gold, diamond, bauxite, timber, and now oil, unmatched in the world per capita, per person, and instead our US dollar go down, it keeps climbing. How can it be? Lubumba talked about everything he wants to buy is from the Chinese in Africa. Is the same thing already happening here, where the Chinese taking over from the tongue to every community across the country, running out, putting out our own Guyanese brothers and sisters out of business. How can it be? A song in like Lubamba? Like what? How can it be, Uncle? When COVID came, the man said, we couldn't afford vaccines, but yet we have leaders who are living larger than ExxonMobil in this country. How can it be? I don't believe Lumumba was talking about Africa. I believe he was talking about Guyana, with what's going on here by the so-called leaders we have. How can it be that Guyana is so rich that the whole world is now running to come here, while our people running helter-skelter to anywhere they can go to stretch out or to scratch out or to echo out a daily living? How can it be? How can it be that Parliament is passing law to give the minister power to waive taxes rightfully due to a country and its people from the resources that belongs to all of us? How can it be? How can it be with a stroke of the pen, Winston Jordan can give away billions of US dollars just like that for all the oil in this country? How can this be? How can we have a leader, Bara Jagdeo, who knows this is wrong, but refuse to comment or correct this wrong and all the other wrongs? Man, Bernard, how can this be? How can this be, Uncle, when he and the president say what the coalition did was the worst thing ever for this country, and both of them said they will revisit, review, and renegotiate the Exxon lopsided contract? Today, sitting in the chairs of power, they're singing the opposite to that. How can it be? How can it be right that instead of going after those who robbing, cheating and stealing our resources, going after people like Lall and anyone who dare talk about renegotiation of the contract? How can this be? How can this be when a whole country and region is sitting in the middle of a fireball, a ticking time bomb, ready to explode at any moment, and the leaders refusing to ensure that they get full protection from the parent companies of the oil companies? How can this be? I am talking about full insurance protection. How can it be? Jagdev talking about approving the 5th and the 6th project. Yes. I'm not talking about ring fencing of these projects so that we can get our rightful half and half of every barrel of oil instead of a half of a quarter bottle or a quarter barrel. How can this be? Let me repeat for the umpteenth times. How can we have a business that worth trillions of US dollars in which we are supposed to get half and half profits and no one checking the bills to see what they're shoving down our throats? How can this be, Bernard? How? Oh God, Ray, help us. Tell me how. How can we be paying 55,000 American dollars each day for each one of those 50 plus supply boats out there, when our neighbors like Trinidad and Suriname is paying $8,000 and $10,000 per day for the same size of boats? How can this be? I don't know. The Commonwealth want we to control the hundreds of millions Exxon taking out every year on every project to clean up. Yes. And warn us that that can move from millions to billions. And your government, our leaders, turning a deaf ear to this warning from the Commonwealth. How can this be? How can it be that the World Bank, the people who got to lend you money to build schools, hospitals, and buy drugs, etc., also warning Jagdev and President Ali to please put a cap on the interest rate with the oil companies, for they can take you for a ride like a donkey. And nothing is being said, heard, or done by them. How can this be, brothers and sisters? Nothing they have ever put hands on or initiated for this country and its people has ever been a success. Look around and see the Skeldon plant, the Enmore packaging plant, the airport they're building, them schools, police and fire stations with post offices they're building. Look at the money they're spending and watch what they look like. How can this be? How can it be that we have schools without blackboards, chalk, desks and benches, hospitals and health centers without bandage and aspirin, that we have no faith in. How can this be? In the fastest growing economy on earth today, how can this be? How can it be? The Marriott were used to lose money before we find oil. Making money now. They want to snatch it out from we hands. How can that be? How can it be the 20% shares Guyana had owned in GT&T that used to give this country 2.5 million US a year? They sell it out to people we don't know on to this day. How can it be? How can it be the Sonata complex that worth over 25 million US gone for next to nothing? How can it be the new GPC that used to make money for Guyana gone for next to nothing too? How can all these things be? How can it be that the entire Stabroek block, worth billions of US dollars, land in the hands of ExxonMobil for free? How can this be? How can it be that the Kaieteur and Kanji oil blocks, almost as big as the Stabroek oil block, also worth billions of American dollars, land in the hands of people for free too? And when Donald Ramotar, the ex-president at the time, was asked, he said he acted on the advice and recommendations of the GGMC and Robert Passad, the minister at the time, responsible for the oil blocks. How can this be? How can this be when the same Robert Passad was asked who are the people that received the oil blocks? He said he never see or know them. He only met with the lawyers who signed on behalf of the owners. And when asked who were the lawyers signed for the owners, he said he can't remember the name. How can this be? Somebody help me. Please. And when the owners were contacted by my reporter, one of them said he driving in traffic and not hearing too well, too much noise. How can that be? The other one said it was so long ago he can't remember. How can that be, uncle? How can that be, auntie? How can it be that two Guyanese that were gifted with our oil blocks worth billions of American dollars, not hearing good and not remembering? How can this be? Please help me. When the coalition go in, they started an investigation. And guess what, brothers and sisters? Them drop it down halfway. How can all these things be? How can it be? The first press conference Bharat Jagdev had after coming back into office said he would investigate the Kaieteur and Kanji oil blocks giveaway. And to this date, we're still waiting for hear if the investigation ever start, much less the findings. How can this be? How can we borrow $190 million US dollars to build the Mabura Road, a bush road for dogs and cats and animals? And look at the holes, the potholes or the craters you guys driving on in the capital city or the rest of the cities Guyana has. Drive the airport and see what that road has become. How can this be? How can it be that we're taking loans for clear up the Demerara mouth, the river mouth, for the oil company, them boats, giving them freeway for the wholesale rape and robbery of Guyana? When our children sorry about that. When our children is hungry, how can this be? How can you have all this gold, diamond, bauxite, manganese, uranium, and even lithium, oil, and so many other valuable resources in abundance? And half the population skipping meals when the day come. How can this be? How can this be? The major gold players of the world are in Guyana secretly, fetching out our gold by the tons, and we can't even see the contracts handed to them by these leaders. How can that be? How can it be that President Ali and Ashni Singh, bringing in a ton of foreigners, giving them sweetheart deals, basically paying them to rape and rob all of us with tax concessions, tax holidays, tax giveaways, and so much more? How can this be? How can this be that our brothers and sisters, your brothers and sisters, the owners of these resources, can't get a piece of land to make a hustle from the minerals that we have? How can that be? How can that be? That when they do bring up, our brothers and sisters bring up an ounce of gold or 10 ounces of gold, they have to pay all the rightful royalties and taxes, but the foreigners pays nothing. How can this be? How will we ever see prosperity when we have so much secrecy? How can we ever see our way when we have so much darkness? How can we ever see a bright future when we have so much skullduggery going on in this land? How can it be? How can you live in such a rich country and half the population still on their knees with their mouths and hands wide open, begging? How can this be, brothers? Help me. Help me to understand this. Just a small clique of people laughing, smiling, singing and dancing, enjoying themselves with fine wines and fat steak, eating lobsters, while the masses are crying for a little piece of banga Mary and grieving for a sliced bread or a loaf. How can this be? Listen to Kaieteur News headline we carry today. Today, only today, an international watchdog body is telling Guyana to keep your head on. Keep your head on with them bills Exxon throwing at us. The people said oil companies often inflate, jack up the bills with hidden expenses for the big boys, foreign workers and their families to benefit. The people said they are known for giving you invoices of things they never buy or deliver, and they charge you for it. The people say, look at the exorbitant marketing fees they're putting on bills to hand you. How come we are being helped with this type of information, and Jagdeo and Ali, Norton and Ramjatan mouths close? How can this be? I don't know. I need help. The people went on to say, look out for expenses that doesn't belong to you, that they will dump on you to pay. Oh man, you help me here, man. I need help. Guyanese, you people need to see. You need to speak. You need to stand up. I am sitting here and I am not ashamed to tell you that tears is coming from my eyes as I speak. I feel like screaming at the top of my voice just for you people. Because I am beginning to think I just want to give up my birthright and go live somewhere else. How can you be the richest country on earth today, man, and you country look like a shanty tongue everywhere you go? How can this be? How can you have leaders of your country hiding away the contracts they sign between them and the foreigners on your wealth, and you quiet? How can this be? Help me. Help me to understand how you can be the richest country per person and still have people eating out of rubbish bins every day and all over. How can all this be happening and you people sit down quietly? How can this be? I lost the challenge against the government and ExxonMobil. The judge ruled that the finance minister, Winston Jordan at the time, had the power to waive the taxes and that he broke no law. That's it. The law is the law. I played my role as a citizen and took the government to court for waiving the taxes to ExxonMobil and its subcontractors. That by itself, guys, shows that any citizen can challenge the decision or decisions our government is making in managing the affairs of this nation. The judge, Nareshwar Harnanan, went above and beyond to say that although my lawyers filed the case wrongfully under private law rather than public law, he had the discretion to convert the matter and continue to hear the case because Glenn Lall was within his right as a citizen to move to the courts as it was a matter of public interest. The judge also threw out the arguments put forward by Exxon lawyers saying that Glenn Lall took too long to file this case and told them the case was too important not to be tried and heard. I am still thinking of an appeal. I must say this. Listening and watching that judge rendering his decision, I know in his heart he was with me and every Guyanese to get the rightful taxes due to us out of our resources. But the law, the coalition passed in Parliament gave Winston Jordan the power to do what he did, waive all the taxes on ExxonMobil and their affiliates, their partners, their subcontractors, that tied the judge's hand, which left him with no choice to rule as he did. I must thank him for his frankness in rendering that decision. Glenn Lall lost, and all Guyana lost. Let's wait and see if President Ali will use his majority in Parliament and change that law so that ExxonMobil and their cronies pay the rightful share of taxes due to Guyana from every single cent that they made out there from the fifth and every other project going forward. Yes. Let's wait and see what will happen. Can it be? The ball is in our president's hand. You don't need Aubrey Norton, you don't need Ramjatan, or you don't need Jagdeo to make this possible. That's correct. It's in the hands of President Ali. The Guyanese people are watching and waiting on you. Please don't disappoint them. As certain you want a second term, the people will judge you and stain their finger based on your actions. What time is it? You know, yesterday we celebrated 53 years as a republic. We had a program Wednesday, the day before. Any one of you notice I didn't say Happy Mashramani or Happy Republic Day? And you would never hear that from me. Yes, ever. Or even respond to the many people who send me Mashramani and Republic Day greetings. You know why, brothers and sisters? Why? What is there to be happy about?
Exactly.
What was there to celebrate?
Slavery.
Countries celebrate, citizens celebrate when they're happy, when they're comfortable. How can a nation celebrate when half of the children in this country goes to school with empty lunch kits? How can a people celebrate when the salaries and pension they're receiving can't even take care of them for a week? What? Are we donkeys? Are we dogs waiting for masters to come and throw bones at us? How can this be? Not me or my family. How can we celebrate when the taxes alone we give away is in the billions of US dollars yearly, and we collecting a few millions as we portion? Huh? To put food in the empty pots. How can this be? Huh? How can we celebrate when we are losing billions in paying interest rates alone? How can we celebrate when we are losing billions through the lack of a ring fencing provision on these projects? How can we celebrate losing billions on inflated bills or invoices? How can we progress? How can we develop not only our country but ourselves when we're losing that kind of money? Help me to understand. How can we have that kind of money slipping through our fingers while the leaders running to banks every day, borrowing money to buy medicine, patch road and build hospitals and so on? Borrow to give 5,000 increase to them old people, our elders. You still want to hear Happy Mashramani from Glenn Lall's mouth? You got to hear that from them clowns y'all call politicians. Check the newspaper yesterday. The PNC, the PPP, and the AFC all have Mashramani messages inside them, wishing y'all the very best. When last you hear them put out a statement or a message about Guyana's wealth that is being melted away by the seconds? When last you hear them talk about correcting all those things I just spoke about? When last you hear them put out a statement about changing that oil contract or using the trump cards they have in their hands to ensure we get it right on every other project waiting to be approved? Huh? How can this be? Brothers and sisters, how can this be? I wish I could have used the words I want to use to describe what messages they should have put out. Instead of that Santa Claus Mashramani message, all of them copy and paste from one another and send out. The ERC, Ethnic Relation Commission, and other organizations also sent out best wishes. Yes. Best wishes. And I'm certain the churches, temples, and masjids all wish their devotees happy Mashramani. Any one of them to say anything about what's going on in this land? Do they preach that in the prayer homes or the different organizations? I am just asking. I like to ask questions. All of them only stretching their hands and licking their lips for what they can get or what is there for them. Yesterday, I got a message on TikTok talking about 7 rules in life that we must live by. The first one, number 1, is let it go. Never ruin a good day by thinking about a bad yesterday. That's for him. And you can also buy that, uncle. But Glenn Lall have to remind you of what they did yesterday, even if it's ruining my day today, to ensure that the evil they did yesterday do not continue tomorrow. So I can't let it go. The second one, the man said, ignore them. Don't listen to other people. Live a life that empowers you. Uncle, living a life that empowers you is correct. I agree with that. But ignoring them is nowhere in my books. The evil they do must be exposed, not ignored. If you ignore them, then you're empowering them to do more evil to all of us. Yes, to keep you where you are, hungry and poor. With all the evil that is being done to this country, you want to tell me I must ignore that and pretend it ain't happening? Not Glenn Lall, brother. You send a message to the wrong man, find somebody else. The third thing he said, give it time. Time heals everything. I am not certain about that too, brother. Keep on putting off whatever has to be done today and see what becomes of your tomorrow. You will eat. You know what? I don't want to tell you what. The same thing. For 7 years, the whole country quiet on this oil deal. And what's going on? Where are we today? Time healing, right? Or time running out? Time and healing anything, brother. Time running out. How can it be? 4. He said, don't compare. The only person you should try to beat is the person you were yesterday. Uncle, I could probably live with that part and try to better myself every day that goes by. But don't compare. Especially where our wealth is concerned. As to what country is getting. As to what Guyana getting. You'd have your own brother to send me that message. Or give me that advice. Don't compare. And see where. What do you say? How much Trinidad getting? Tell them.
12.5% royalty and 55% taxes.
Suriname.
62.25%.
Brazil.
Used to be 56. Some of the new fields 76.
What are you getting?
12.5%. Junkie 12.5%.
The fifth thing the friend said, stay calm. It's okay not to have everything figured out. Know that in time you will get there. Uncle, that is an old time saying. And I yesterday thinking, because with today's technology, before you wake up, your country empty, your house empty, your pocket and your pot empty. You can't stay calm and don't say nothing, brother. Not Glenn Lall. Send a message to somebody else. The sixth thing he said, it's on you. Only you are in charge of your happiness. What do you say to that, Bernard? I am not certain about that. Because I know I am responsible not only for my own happiness, but happiness for my grandchildren. The same way the leaders of this land elected to ensure that all the people of this country are happy. Yes. We are in charge of our happiness, but to an extent. How can I be happy? Or how can the Guyanese people be happy when the wealth we are blessed with by God Almighty, the leaders allowing foreigners to make themselves, their countries, and their citizens happy, taking away our happiness for their comfort, joy, and satisfaction? How can that be? I don't know. And the last one he said, life is short. Enjoy it while you can. If I could have catch the man who said that yesterday, I'll pong him in the mouth. Life is short. Enjoy it while you can. He gotta be an old son of a gun. You know? Gotta be that. Because I can't see you telling the Guyanese people who ain't got nothing in their pots to enjoy it while you can.
Not even the cones of chicken feed.
What's there to enjoy? That man got to be one of Jack dear friend. Or if I like, he send a message to me himself via someone else. Because it's something he would say. Let the calls roll in, man. I think I talk enough.
All right, it is now 8:30.
Let the
If you
call
want to make
roll
a contribution, you can call 226-7453, 226-7454, and you'll be right on to the Glenn Lall Show. In the meantime, there is a packed house in studio this evening. Anyone want to make a contribution, Bernard?
Yeah, give me a quick one. Good evening, Glenn.
Good
You know, for evil to triumph only requires good people to be silent. And we will not be silent. We will never be silent. Hell no, we won't be silent.
Not Glenn Lall.
Not me either. Glenn, do you know our leaders love to talk about transparency? But do they ever do anything transparent? I will tell you how this can be. They are following 100% all the failed corrupt leaders of Africa. Like Obasanjo of Nigeria, Theodore Obiang of Equatorial Guinea, Dos Santos of Angola, Omar al-Bashir of Sudan. That's who the leaders they are following.
They will go to jail. They will go to jail. Trust me.
Well, let's hope so. That is why. They don't follow leaders like the one in Singapore, yes. The leader in Singapore who get rid of corrupt leaders, corrupt people, corrupt politicians, corrupt state employees. You get a call?
You have a call?
Take the call.
Yes. The leader in Singapore.
Raise it.
Corrupt leaders. Corrupt people. Corrupt
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, this is Kaieteur, huh?
Yes? And
So
you're
we
live.
have to get rid of these parties. We have to get rid of these people some way or the other, right? We have to get rid of these people. You understand?
Why don't we get them to do the right things?
Getting
rather than
them,
get rid of them?
it's over 50 years since we were independent. Those three parties, basically two parties, that PVP and we got to get a new party. We need new. Mr. Lall is the only man that has this vision in this country, and a few other people. How long are we going to wait? We are dying, sir. We are dying. Mr. Lall is the only man that has this vision in this country, and a few other people. We are dying. How many of our olders are dying from poverty? Look how much wealth is passing through. We have to get rid of these people, whether it's Infanali and Barajagdio and it's always overbearing, sir. We got to farm something and get rid of these people, sir. Thank you very much.
Welcome. You're welcome. Good evening. You're live on the Glenn Lall Show. Hello? Hello?
Hi, good night, Mr. Glenn.
Good night.
And, I still want to commend you for this program here that you're doing, but I want to let you know something. I know presently now you don't gamble, but I'm sure you know this slang that people usually talk when four-person gambling. And you hear this, a man claim in the midst of the gambling, he claimed that he said, he get in a row, the mean, three of them rowing he.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? You understand?
I know it. I know it. Yeah. They're banking him.
Good. So how could that person stop from getting a row? You know what you got to do? Either he stop play,
yes,
or you got to say, hey. You got to say, hey, I taking a partner, and me and he playing, so therefore out of the three, one got to come out.
Exactly.
And the partner that the man taking got facing each other. So he could never get a row. I think you are getting a row.
Yeah.
You understand? And this other thing I want to make.
Yeah, because all of them is in one boat, and I am in a different boat.
Yes, hear this here now. Hear this other thing. They studied that case so good, that is why it went on a hole. And they find a loophole to throw it back on the previous government with that law. You see how it goes from the former finance minister? So all the blame go on him, on them, with that law, so that the tax could be waived. These people smart, very smart.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. That can change. It can change. The 4 projects that the coalition and the PVP don't sign, that can change tomorrow morning on the 5th and every other project going forward. All Vice President Jagdev and President Ali has to do is say from now on, no, you'll pay me taxes on it. That's all. You see, wait. It's a law. It's a law. It's a discretion given to the minister to waive it. So the present minister does not have to waive it for any other project going forward. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. But Jagdev them is not doing any single thing to touch that. To benefit Guyana.
Look how they swing the case. Very smart and subtle, I call it.
No. The case didn't swing. The judge was very clear. The judge said they passed an act in Parliament that give the minister the power to do what he wants. And he can't change that.
Under the previous government.
Yes. And that still exists here now. Jagdev know that. And Jagdev still going to grant 3 and 4 with tax-free ride. And now he's going to give the 5th and the 6th with tax-free ride again. When that can stop? Listen to me, man. Listen to me, brother. Listen to me, Guyana. Every single thing that happened with this oil deal can change tomorrow morning. Let them don't tell you otherwise.
Yeah, but
I am going to prepare a program for Monday and show you people how so many things have already changed. Read it in the Kaieteur News Sunday. And I'll do a program on it Monday. Everything can change. Everything can change. Guyana, hands and mouth and feet has not been tied for a lifetime. It tied up on the projects we already give away. Am I clear?
Yeah.
Good.
Anyhow,
Amen.
keep strengthening yourself, though. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Listen the gloves. Anyhow, good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I said, lacing my gloves. Brother, I try my best to do it and do so much every day. Oh boy. Yeah. Pull the mic next to you. Yeah.
Mr. Lall,
Yes.
our Vice President went to India to sign that agreement to give away 2 oil black.
To
give away 2 oil blacks.
no.
Or whatever you may cost, or whatever the
No.
cost is. Is there any way that the Guyanese people will know what the cost is for those 2 oil blacks and what
Thank
is
you.
Guyana getting from it?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Can you hold a moment for me, please? Hold.
Yeah.
No, sir. No, sir. No oil blocks given away. Okay? Full stop. There is no oil block. Jagdev can't give away no oil block. The 2 oil block that give away is the Kaieteur and Kanji and the Starbuck block. And a few others. The new ones is not to give away. The new ones is for sale. What President Ali said, they're holding back, I think, 2 for government to government relationship with the Britain, with England. Yes, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Brother Glenn.
Yes, good evening.
Enjoying your program as normal, man.
Thank you.
I
Essequibo, I am coming Essequibo Sunday, noon.
Sunday, good.
Yes, at noon.
Good, brother.
Sopanam.
Okay.
Yes.
This is the Sunday, right?
Yes, I'm coming to have a drink. All right.
Yeah,
I need a drink, man. And I need a drink from out of Essequibo, my hometown. Right?
Good, man. Wonderful.
So I didn't go there. I didn't go there a while.
It is too much, man.
Yes,
It is too much.
Yes, I'll be at Sopanam, so you could probably come by and let's have a drink.
Yeah.
I
Brother Glenn is match yesterday, and everyone was whining and dining all across this country.
Yes.
And it is sad, it is very sad to know that what these colonial masters, right, have gone, but the system in place has left here for entrap us.
Hold on.
And that,
Hold on. ExxonMobil and the oil companies, I am pretty much certain that they would have contributed to the MASH celebration.
man,
You hear me? That's where they're contributing. Keep you stupid, keep you whining, keep you dining, keep you drunk, keep you smiling with a few pennies in your pocket.
man, it is sad, man. It's sad. I feel it, Yeah, it is very sad. It's very sad. For our people, as you were rightly saying earlier, many of our children are going to school with an empty lunch kit. And it's so true. It is so true. From an oil-producing nation, oh my God, I pray, man, I pray.
Thank you.
Brother Glenn, I normally enjoy your
Thank you.
want to encourage you, man. You know, you keep doing your good work, man, you know.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good, man. You have a wonderful evening, too,
You
man.
too. You know, they had Jove at the stadium. Man, if you see people there, Bernard, you know, I told my guy, I said, if you can only get them out in the streets, like how they went to party. You hear me?
To fight with
that contract change tomorrow morning. But how do you get these people to understand what is rightfully theirs, or what they should be celebrating and partying and fighting over? How do you get them to understand?
Glenn, yesterday I drove to Bobby's, right? And the school children with the teachers were in the march from walking on the street. Do you know the teachers had a box that they're begging the drivers for $20, $100 as they were going along the road yesterday? Not one, many of them, the teacher had a big box begging the drivers for a little money, a little $100 or $20, whatever people
To do what?
I don't know. Many schools along the Bobbies.
Schools have teachers begging on the street.
No, but they were the students. They were the students in the march uniforms, in the march costumes along the street, and the police stopped with slow down traffic, and they have a box begging the drivers.
Oh my gosh! No. You take pictures.
I'm sorry we didn't video. I'm sorry we didn't take pictures.
You gotta take pictures of these things, man. It's important for you to flash these things. Let the shareholders of ExxonMobil and the oil companies them see how they're living with our oil and how our shareholders are living with cartoon box begging on the streets. Yes, good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening, Glenn and the panel.
Yes, good evening.
You know, I have a question for you. You believe these leaders will ever change?
Never.
You have to change them.
I can only hope that the things we do and the exposure I am doing here and in the newspapers and with your opening your mouth and your friends opening their mouth, we get them to understand that, hey, we are not going to accept it. You see, unless these leaders know that the power they have can be taken away, you hear me? They will not change. That's why I'm saying the more people begin to understand and speak and said, this is why I mentioned earlier. I said President Ali wants a second term. Right? Let's see what he's going to do. Let's see his attitude, right, towards our resources and the way people live in this country. If he's going to continue borrowing loans every day, or if he's going to run after the real money that we own and get our rightful share.
You see, Glenn, a lot of people are listening to you, and this message is getting home. And that is very good. You know what President Ali is interested in? I was so surprised early morning when I just go on Facebook. He posts up, welcome to Essecubo, a sign they put up there with little light and so. And that is what he interested in. That is big for he and a couple of his disciples saying, look, great work, great work. I want to know if this putting food in people's pack on the table, if they getting food from the sign, that little sign he put up just to go over the bridge coming over to Zila there. Welcome to East Bank Essecubo and One Guyana. That is what this president putting on his Facebook page. 6 o'clock in the morning. That is important to he. And when we got Exxon eating out and the mining people them coming and carrying away everything, and he looking into that. These little foolishness. That is what exciting this president.
That's the kind of billboard he should be putting up there, telling the foreigners to pay their rightful share.
I tell you, Glenn, he even put up billboard for tell them that. He just gotta speak the word and say, look, come in. Guyanese, we brothers and sisters gotta get our rightful share. But instead of that,
I don't know. But I tell you, as you just said, is we gotta open our mouth and let them know. And if we do that and they can't do what is right, me gonna tell you what is the next move. You know.
Amen.
You know what is the right move. But we gotta get a change. Glenn, you keep this war going. You keep this measures going.
Thank you.
Changes
Thank you. Let me take somebody else.
Good. Have a good.
Yes, good evening.
Hello, namaste, Mr. Glenn.
Namaste, sir.
Yeah, I just want to hear my suggestion to the Guyanese public pertaining to the law and the thing. Everything is within the hands of the people. It's a movement of these people in the country. Right? We're not like India and Africa where them white boys them doing what they want to do and direct every show of the country. We got a revolution. And the people of themselves, remember we is Douglas now. We not know, well, one race that they got swing them is Douglas. 2 power coming into them. It's 95% black and only 5% white. And these politicians, the new AFC and the PPP, all of them just fighting for power, but the hour just come creeping up on them. So don't give up, my brother. Don't give up.
Thank you.
Good must always be over evil. Good must always be over evil.
I hear you.
Guyanese brother and sister, hear what Mr. Glenn saying and preaching. Yeah, because it's a great soul. It's a movement of your people. Only God people could help this nation.
I hear you, brother.
The wicked as Satan people them. So don't give up and just hold it up. We there with you.
All right, brother. Thank you.
I talking to you, me all skin growing all the time. And you got enough great souls in this land, you know. This is the promised land. This is the hidden gem. This is the land that the Father himself come out and teach people to live amongst the brothers and sisters.
I hear you, brother.
We hear what the whole world is inflation, enough problem in the world. We got what we got here, but God bless we with. We go survive for generation to generation. Teach the world. We're not champion of the world, you know. We are the king of the world. We got everything that is natural within God.
Thank you.
Trying to destroy we with this isle is big destruction and bringing out to our real people them. The whole climate got change. Who planted party can't reap it. Planted a kitchen garden can't prosper upon it. Nothing. You understand me? Don't give up on this job.
I hear you, brother.
Man, don't give up.
I hear you.
Do not give up. And you got other brothers and you got to share this message.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night. I like, when you listen to calls like that, it gives me the energy, It encourages my heart, my soul, the body, to keep on going. Just listening to that gentleman there, he tells me, I'm listening to him keenly, he understands every word I said there. Every single word I said there, he understands. Good evening, sir. You're live. Hello?
Good evening, Mr. Glenn.
Yes, could you speak up, please?
Good evening, Mr. Glenn. Hear me clear now?
Yes, clear.
You're the guy with a big step, so you need to take this big step to a next level, or further level. Because you want people with vision to run this country. We need a change. If you don't need no other party. A next new party then.
I'm listening.
Yeah, concerning this 1,700 million school, the project was awarded already?
Yeah, man. They got another one again.
Yeah, because I listened to the first program you had where you played the review with President and the VP. He said well, new hospital that was 600 million was awarded to build 12 new hospital, right?
Brother, it's every day them awarding projects upon projects upon projects. with inflated prices. Man, when I see the prices, I stop get upset. I just smile and say, well, take it, Guyana. Take it again. Not one project, not one single project these people are issuing that we can say, you know what, that's a reasonable figure. None, not one.
Let me show you this because I don't know if you observe this on the program with critics is.
No. Hold.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Don't. I don't want to hear nothing about nobody. Let's talk with what we are dealing with here now. I am not going to go down. I don't want to deal with idiots. Don't do me that. Thank you.
Well, just for my opinion then, right? Like, if one school equal to 1,700 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're giving out 12 hospital equal to 600 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's 50 million for one hospital. That 1,700 million could build almost to a 60 hospital. Just 100 million short. Because it's 6 trees is 18. And here this, the VP said to the public, that it was when I don't want to call his name again then, he said, but this hospital might not done in this year, it might done in 2024, 24 or 25, right? It's 2024. But they already take this money for budget to build this hospital. Now you claiming that this hospital might not done. So you telling me that next year budget you want to take some more money.
Let me make it more simple for you.
Continue the same project.
Let me make it more simple for you, man. Let me make it more simple for you. Every project they embark on, every year they set aside money for a project. Let's take the airport project as a simple example. They started out that project at 138 million US. You hear me? Today they're 170 million. It's supposed to finish since 2015. It's still in finish. Right? They use these things. They use these things as a cash cow. You understand? To cash out money every month, every year after year. So, and this is what I keep doing with projects after projects. Schools, the same thing. Hospitals, man, trust me. The 40 million when Jagdi was on my program, he said he building 3 hospitals. That 40 million will disappear and the foundation of the hospitals will not be finished. This is what I keep doing. Thank you. I want to give somebody else a call.
All right, well, thank you. Have a good night.
No. Too much, man. Too much. Uh-oh. Oh, you got so much calls come through here. You get any call there? You got one waiting? Yeah. Take it. Oh, no. Take it.
Hello.
Oh, you got so much calls come through here. You got any call there?
Hello.
You got one waiting? Take it. Oh, no. Take it.
Hello.
Please turn on your radio before you answer.
Tell the lion not going to dance himself. You hear me say? You're not going to dance himself there.
Take him out. I didn't hear what he said. You have any order? You have a question?
You're on to the Glenn Lall Show.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, you're on to the Glenn Lall Show.
All right, good. Yes. Good night, Mr. Glenn and the panel. I have a few comments I'd like to make.
Go ahead.
Concerning the tax that Minister Jordan back then signed on. Did he sign or did he waive taxes for all eternity for Guyana?
No.
Is that what? Because I'm wondering to know if in this country we could have such a thing that
what he would have signed on to is for all eternity. I find that to be very disturbing.
Well, 1 second.
And
well, 1 second.
go ahead.
That is one of the questions I want to put to the judges. If a minister have the power, you see, you give a minister discretion to act in the best interest of the people, but does he have that power to just sign off and say, listen, all the taxes you must not pay anything? That's kind of I don't know, and that's what I'm trying to get from some lawyers, some understanding of it.
How can that be acting in the best interest of the people?
No. But let him go ahead.
All right. Yes. So what I would encourage you, and I encourage all Guyana to come on board with you, is to have this case appeal, because I think that is the path where they want to go down, and I don't think we should allow it as Guyanese, because if that tax was waived for Lisa 1 and 2, it's definitely we have 3 and 4, 5 and 6. So I don't understand what is happening.
No, he waived it for Lisa 1 and 2. And Jagdeo went and waived it for 3 and 4.
Okay. So what? So are we going to allow 5 and 6 and the rest to come?
Well, let's wait and see what President Ali and Jagdeo is going to do.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, my friend, everything can be reversed. What they both did with the 4 projects.
Yes.
But let's see
now,
if they will. And you don't have to have B. You don't have to have the B to change it. You can change it.
I understand.
Right.
Yes. So what is very alarming, and I think all Guyanese and listening to this program right now should understand this thing, that we are the citizens born and bred in this country, and we are made to pay taxes, whether you're a businessman or whether you're a regular employee.
Exactly.
How come foreigners can come and dictate in this country and tell us that they're not going to pay tax? Something is wrong. I see that this is colonialism all over again.
Exactly.
And I hope the Guyanese people understands this. Now that brings me to this point I would like to make. Just like you, who you just said that you didn't really say anything about Happy Mashramani or Republic Day. I agree with you, and I am 100% behind you. I swear, for about 2 years ago, I am not going to say Happy Independence Day and Happy Republic Day, because what is there to be happy about? Guyanese people need to wake up and understand what the government is doing. This is a psychological thing they're playing. They know to go on the media and give a nice showdown, carry you at the park and make these things look nice, But what is the real story behind these things is that this is a land like Africa, so to speak. So I want Guyanese to understand that we should not celebrate yet. There's a lot of hard work yet to do. And the hard work that we have to do is to get these things straightened out. That brings me to this point. These politicians understand these things so clearly. Our constitution, which is the backbone of this country, the way how it is currently set, that is what is giving these politicians the leverage and giving them the force to which they are operating at. If that thing is not changed, me and you and Guyana, we might rant and rave and nothing is going to get fixed. So I think the approach is also to have these politicians, we have to get constitutional reform. And like I have said on the Wednesday program, they should not dictate what should be in the constitutional reform. The Guyanese people, we are the ones who elected them. We have to get them to change what we want. For example, case in point, one of the laws should be like this. If you are corrupt politicians, you have to be jailed. How come they don't have that? How come like that law that they passed December of 2021, where you must report the oil money coming into the country, but the minister must not, he should not give an account to what he's doing with the money. In other words, the money should not be, Guyanese must not know where the money is going to. That needs to be changed. That's not accountability. A couple things about accountability that I understand is that you must have transparency, you must have participation, accountability, and integrity. Now we must ask ourselves this question: can we say our politicians are like this? Do they have these qualities? And what is alarming is that we have an opposition who is almost non-existent. And that thing is sickening to your soul. It bothers me to the core to know that we have such an opposition. It's like they're gone. It's like, when they cook curry and the place get cold and you watch inside in the curry how it get. It kind of, get it coagulated and it gets hard like gel. The opposition is like coal, like concrete. I think it's time that we should have a vibrant opposition. And Mr. Lall, I am proposing to you tonight that I think with your vision and your participation in this thing here right now, I think we should have a man like you in the opposition. That is what I would like Guyana to think about, and you consider that.
Well, let's...
And go ahead.
Let's put it this way. I have been touted many years now in which they call me the opposition. The Kaieteur News team and Glenn Lall is the opposition. So what you're saying, you're just adding to what I've been doing for the last 29 years in the media.
Well, I understand that. I agree with that. That's well said. But we need that opposition that will have to go into the parliament and face them. So I think it is too much that Guyanese people are going through right now to know that we are at this stage, and to know that we would have stained our fingers to have these people come back in power. And look what they're doing. To me, I will be honest with you, I was a high school student when I first stained my finger for these people. I'm a big grown man now, and I haven't seen any change. No change has taken place. They are just the same old way. They are. And I would even say they're even worse. Or what somebody said the other day, the word is worserous.
Yes.
Right? So we need to change this thing. And I'm saying again, it's very important. The Constitution has to change. There are things there that, the Barnum 1980 Constitution and the little one that they had in 2000, them thing with them change, man, is joke. Them thing there is like very trivial things. But we need where you have to have politicians who must be accountable, that they have to go to jail. I know there is a caller who normally call and he was always say, but Mr. Glenn, them banners need to be jailed. I feel that man pain, and I am like that. These people got to be jailed, and that is why we have to have the constitutional reform, or else we will not get anywhere.
Thank you.
And I think that is why they are taking the advantage, and they know this thing. And Guyanese people, they need to wake up to understand something. You see, our psyche, the Guyanese psyche is like this. They like freeness, and when they come and they come sharing money, that is what is confusing people. They must say, oh, the PVP people are very good people, right? But Guyanese people need to wake up and understand that this thing is a plot. Is a plot to buy them out for the next election.
That's
right. Where, if you go around this place here and check the NDCs, how they run, they are virtually non-existent. It's a space that is open. They have a door, it's open, and they only collect rates and taxes. They are virtually non-existent. They do not do anything for the community. This thing has become like a central bureaucratic system where everything is done from central ministry. That is how these institutions are set up to be now.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to get out of this thing here, man. The local governance of this country has stopped for this period of time that the government is in power. I've never seen such reluctancy like never before.
Thank you, my friend.
To change this thing.
I'll have to hold a special program for me and you alone. Let's give somebody else.
All right, sure.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Good evening. I have somebody here. Good evening.
Yes, Mr. Glenn. Good night to you.
Good night. Yes.
All right. First thing, I'm very sorry that you have lost the case in the court. However,
we have lost.
Yeah, I don't think that is the end of the road. However, I must commend you because you're the only person that I ever know in my life that challenged a government to get a foreign company to pay the taxes that they should have been paid.
Mhm.
And I must congratulate you for
Thank you.
taking that step.
Thank you.
Now, secondly, I just want to hear your opinion on something. Let's say the government approve a company to open a factory along with the EPA blessing. But while in operation, people in the area started to get sick, started to die. It became detrimental for the citizen of the country. Should the citizen just sit back and wait and say, okay, you know what? These people have a contract, you know, and it's 10 years. So let's wait it, let's ride out the 10 year and, you know, people will stop getting sick and stop dying. Should we wait, or should the citizen come out and hold the government accountable and say, hey, even if you had made a mistake, this needs to stop?
1 second. The first thing you do, you highlight that in the public domain. You bring it to the government's attention that, hey, we believe that our life, our livelihood is being hampered or destroyed. And if they don't act, you see, at all time, every government have to act in the best interests of the people. And if you have a company or one set of people doing things that will affect the lives of others, no, you have laws for that. You move to the court. Like I feel that Winston Jordan grant tax waivers to the oil companies was an unjust thing, unfair to the nation, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm coming at.
But with livelihood, with that what you're saying there, a company doing, you're talking about a hazardous company.
No, I'm just trying to make a little reference here.
Yes, you can move to the court.
Now,
you can move to the
what
court.
I'm trying to come at here is that if Winston Jordan, well, not if, he had made a mistake with that contract with waiver in the taxes, right? That's why I use the reference. If the people should just wait it out. Now, is the government telling us that, look, whoever is in government, if they make a mistake and sign away Guyana, y'all have to live with that. You're telling me here, right?
I never thought about that
one.
one.
No, one man mistake. You're telling me an entire nation must accept that they have to suffer because of one man mistake?
Nope.
That's what they're telling us.
Nope.
Yeah? You know, I listened to the program with Freddie Kissoon and Freddie Kissoon, Leonard Gildari, and Leonard Schumann the other night. And Schumann was justifying something that, you know, you can't raise the minimum wage.
You know, my friend.
Because it will decimate the private sector. But what I think Mr. Schumann is missing here, it's not about decimating the private sector, decimating
My
the
friend,
public sector.
my
It is
friend.
what is needed to survive.
My friend,
It
please.
is what is needed to survive. Had we gotten just 5% of the taxes that Exxon due to this country, we would have built 5 Harbor Bridge.
My friend, please. Let's talk our language here.
Okay.
You're calling people. You're talking about people who doesn't have an understanding of running a cake shop. And this is honest to God. You can call any one of my staff.
You know,
That same Schumann came to my office, and I put him in front of the editorial room, and I said, guys, this is one of our presidential candidates. He wants. I am giving him the opportunity to speak to you people. And when he stood up and he was happy, yeah, man. I asked him 3 questions when he finished. And my friend said, boss, oh my God, you shouldn't do the man that. He could not answer any of my questions. And I looked at him and I said, you can't answer these simple questions I ask, yet you want me vote and these people votes. And he felt away, you know. My staff even reprimand me, say, man, boss, what you did. I said, no. Once you enter into the realm of politics in which you want to lead the Guyanese people, you must be able to answer simple and straightforward, direct questions.
Agreed.
And
You
he
know,
could not answer. So when you tell me what Schumann talk, don't even, you're wasting my energy, brother.
Anyway.
You should try to get Schumann to, listen, I'm going to give you $500,000 tomorrow morning. Could you get Schumann on my radio program?
I don't think you would ever come.
Please get him.
Anyway, but this thing, right? If we leave all politics aside, all political affiliation or whichever party we are loyal to and we support, let's just be logical here. How long must a country like Guyana keep enduring every time a politician makes a mistake? The nation have to feel it. It's like whenever they get a headache, we feel the pain.
Yeah, well,
Always reflecting and all what they justifying it by saying, oh, it was he that did that. Oh, it was that one that did it.
I want to tell you.
But the nation is losing out.
I want to
people
tell
talk about
you.
civil society,
I want to tell you that Winston Jordan didn't do that by himself, and Winston Jordan didn't make a mistake. These type of giving away or signing away has to be okayed by cabinet. Okay?
Well, like I'm saying, even if it was a mistake, let's say they oversight it.
You can't oversight something like that, brother.
I know that. I know it should never be oversighted, but I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt. Let me just say that. But why is it that the nation must be held hostage into this situation here? I remember Keith Rowley on a program a couple months ago, and I respect him for one thing that he said. He said, no contract is written in stone.
Exactly.
Now, if the day don't come in Guyana here, where we all don't see ourselves as Guyanese, and not as PPP support and PNC supporter, we will never hold nobody accountable. And the next thing too in this country, this majority government thing needs to stop. But you got to get a good third force. We thought we had one in the AFC, but like they run out of patient.
Yeah.
So, and they want too much power in a very short time. This country need a minority government with logic-minded opposition. That's the only way we can move forward. Because one party get one seat and they behave like they win the whole country like Mia Motley.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
For listening.
Yeah. Good evening. Good night. Yes, thank you.
The main force more you gotta get on your program is Granger. He was the head of the government.
Speak up, please.
He gotta come on your program and tell the nation who and what and everything. Granger, you gotta get Granger, not Stratman. Granger, you gotta get on your program. That guy needs no going on.
Yeah, but if Mr. Granger was sick and he didn't know the contract was signed, what Mr. Granger come tell you?
He gonna tell the nation, he gonna tell the world.
All right, I hear you, and I'll try my best.
Because the Stratman can't talk, if I should coming out.
I am told that, yes, too, so.
Right, so you gotta try and get Granger, and then try and get Harmon.
Harmon is the man you gotta get, and Carl Greenwich.
You gotta get out to let the people them hear from their mouth.
Well, I don't even know if they're there in Guyana. I know Carl Greenwich is working with the PPP, but I don't know if they're here. I know Mr. Granger is here.
Right, so try and get try and write a letter to E 1 or 2 or 3 times that you can, if you come or not.
Thank you. I will. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. And with that said, Bernard, namaste. My radio people showing me it's 9:15 and we have to go. God bless you guys. Have a great weekend.